Welcome back to Hot Water Wrestling, and per request from a few people, I'm going to do a review on Brian Pillman, Loose Cannon. Now this is a DVD I actually recently picked up, sad to say a few months ago actually, and just hadn't gotten around to watching it. Brian Pillman was in the WWE during a time I really wasn't watching much wrestling. I watched wrestling through the 80s up until about 1992. I think the last event I actually ordered was SummerSlam 92. And then I kind of didn't come back until around, say, late 96, 97. And then I hung around till about halfway through 2002. I ordered the WrestleMania with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. And then around 2003-ish, I kind of dropped off again, and then started chiming back in about 2006, 7. But anyways, I don't know. You know, it's kind of loose. But I urge everyone to explore and try new things. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with just watching wrestling the whole time either. But you know, out experiencing different things, doing new things, I don't regret one bit of it. So, to get back to my point about Brian Pillman is that I missed a lot of his stuff. You know, I saw some of his stuff, but I never quite got the whole picture. I'll say that this DVD is excellent. An A+, one of the best WWE documentaries I have ever seen. I just did that 25 best videos. And this should have been included, but I didn't see it at the time. I had done that video, but just super excellent. One thing most people don't know about Brian Pillman is that he was a star athlete in Ohio, in the Cincinnati area. He was a star high school football player, and he went on to play football for the University of Miami, Ohio, and did some time in the NFL actually. He was always an achiever. He was a guy who was small in stature, and to make up for his size difference, he was just a tenacious competitor and always went the extra mile in whatever he was doing, whether it be football or wrestling or just in life, is the understanding I got from this video. Just an amazing athlete. His aerial attacks, they talk about it in here. His aerial attacks were extremely innovative. Really pioneered a lot of the tactics we see today. Guys like Jeff Hardy and guys like RVD, people, you know, he kind of paved the way for them to come do spectacular things that we've watched them do. I just can't say enough great things about Brian Pillman, Loose Cannon. It's a very, very sad story. It really is. One thing you might not realize about Brian Pillman is that what I get from this is that he wasn't a man seeking to be high on drugs. He wasn't a man seeking to have a drug habit, and he was party. What happened was Brian Pillman severely hurt his ankle, and he came back too soon from the injury. And he kept re-injuring the ankle and required several surgeries on that ankle. And over time, he was just taking these painkillers and this medication to help him fight through the days, because he just didn't want to quit wrestling, and he just, you know, you couldn't keep Brian Pillman down basically, and no one could tell him no. And at times he should have stopped and rested and gave himself more time to heal. He didn't. And you know, in order to fight through that, he was taking a lot of pain medication, and it just caught up with him. It just caught up with him, and they found him dead in a hotel room. His own mother is on the documentary, and you know, she says it herself that she's kind of at peace in many ways in the manner he died, because she was like, you know, I know that he was taking these medications to fight through the pain, and I'm very sad, but I'm not extremely shocked, because I can see how it would have caught up with him. So she even admits to that, and just makes the story that much sadder, to be honest. In his short career, Brian Pillman accomplished a lot. He was in the Four Horsemen, and he was an introductory member of the Heart Foundation, both very elite groups, especially that Four Horsemen group, the legendary Four Horsemen group. Was an innovator in the soap opera aspect behind wrestling, something that doesn't always make me the happiest fan, but I have to take my hat off to him. He was right there on the forefront of all these kind of like, you know, cinematic interludes that you see in between wrestling and on Raw, and that you saw on Raw, especially during the Monday Night War period. He was really on the forefront of that whole thing, and he was just fantastic on the mic. I mean, the guy had mic skills to die for. I mean, you can see why WWE put up with him and being injured all the time and being out, because when you put the spotlight on the guy, he shined just so bright, and he was so entertaining to watch, and he just drew you in, and you just wanted to see what Brian Pillman was going to do next. You really, really did. And it's a really sad loss for the wrestling world, Brian Pillman. And I never realized it how much today. Now, I wasn't completely ignorant to Brian Pillman before I watched this. Like I said, I did catch some of his matches. I was gone for a lot of his matches. I also have to say that, you know, up until the Monday Night War period, I was a huge WWE loyalist. I didn't watch too many other promotions. Now, I did, okay, don't get me wrong, NWA had a huge presence in the region I live in, so I did catch a lot of their early stuff on television. But I always gravitated toward the WWE products, so I didn't watch as much WCW and AWA as I could have, I guess I should say, back then. It got more interesting with the Monday Night War, but still, I always still gravitated towards WWE for some reason. So, you know, there's a lot I didn't see. I'm just really happy I watched this. I highly recommend picking it up. You'll be very happy you did. And this is a wrestling DVD that, you know, you can show non-wrestling fans and watch with people who don't really like wrestling that much or care about wrestling, because it's just such a great and fantastic story. And it's a sad story, but it's a great story. So I'll see you next time on Hot Water Wrestling.